For this episode, Mark and Sidekick Dave take the train to Hornsby in Sydney's north, then a quick Uber journey to our destination. Our third amigo, Simon, was unable to join us due to a conflicting appointment.
Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to the next episode of It's Always Beeroclock. I'm Mark.
And I'm Sidekick Dave. Where are we today, Mark?
Dave, you remember a few weeks ago we had 9 holes of golf at a golf course at North Ryde, and when we went into the clubhouse afterwards for a refreshing beer, there was a pale ale from Ekim, and we both loved it.
It was an excellent pale ale.
So we thought we'd better come to the source, Ekim Brewing in Hornsby. We've caught the train up here, so let's go in and check it out.
Let's hope they've got it on tap today.
Okay, we're here at Ekim Brewery in Hornsby with the head brewer, Ben. Good afternoon, Ben.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Now, we haven't, Sidekick Dave and I haven't been up this part of the world to a brewery in the past. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of Ekim Brewery?
Sure. I think we're about 15, 16 years old now. We started in Mount Coringo, so 10 minutes north of here. A little factory in there. We're producing about 6,000 litres a month now. As you can see, I've got some bigger tanks here to grow into in our Hornsby facility, so we're currently in the process of moving in still. But yeah, we started very small batch, very 50 litres. Craft beer wasn't even called craft beer back then. It was a microbrewery or a boutique beer.
Yeah.
You know, it was rare as a duck's fart. Now, you know, the industry's really taken off, and it's awesome.
And the brewery had a different owner for its first 10 or so years?
Yeah, so Ekim, in case you haven't figured that out, is Mike backwards.
Right.
So Michael Jorgensen was the guy who founded it all those years ago, and that was always doing hop-forward, American-style sort of beers.
Right.
And just before COVID dropped, 2020 February, he sold it to a local owner now, Dion Scott.
Okay, so Dion didn't change the brewery name to Noid?
No, well, it says no ID, so we're like, oh, well, might get some underage drinkers or something like that coming along, so that might not be a good idea.
Okay, and so over the years, has the philosophy of the brewery changed?
We've always paid attention to the ingredients, using the quality ingredients. I would say, if anything, our range has sort of expanded a bit more.
Yep.
If you go back sort of 5 years, we wouldn't have made a lager. That just full stop, didn't make a lager, we just didn't. We made 1,000 different IPAs, and that was our bread and butter, was IPAs, which was great. It was a good time to be alive. Mm-hmm. But that only serves the IPA market. So if you don't make it, you can't sell it, but if you can make it and drink it as well, it's really good. So that was something that we really developed that, as well as we looked at making like either a cider or a ginger beer. We sort of 50-50, let's make a ginger beer, and now we can't make enough of the ginger beer. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and you've recently moved into these premises here from Mount Coringo.
Yep.
So what was the thought process there? Is it just more space?
Yeah. We've been at capacity for about 2 years, so our beer is selling out quicker than we can make it generally. So that's a good problem for us to have, but a brewery without beer is sort of it's not ideal.
I guess, well, Mount Coringo also, as you mentioned, is like sort of another 10 minutes further north from here, so maybe this is a little more accessible for the drinking public.
Absolutely,
as well.
because we're servicing, this is our local area that we're servicing, and a lot of our punters are local to here. So it's a lot better, a lot more space, so we've got room to grow. The tanks behind us here, that more than doubles our capacity straight away.
Okay, so you're still brewing at Mount Coringo, and it's gradually going to transfer to here. Is that the thought process?
It will transfer here, I think, quite dramatically.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got all my tanks full at the moment, and I can't stop. I'm brewing. And whilst we're getting this up and running, we just can't stop production. So once we've done plumbing checks in here, we're very close to moving over our kettle and our brew house.
Okay.
And we'll start filling these tanks and emptying those tanks and bringing them over here too. So everything's coming with us. Same brew house coming with us. Brew house is 1,000 litres or 10 hec. That still comes with us. And our tanks there, we've got two 2000s and two 1000s and a 600 coming here too. So already behind us is these are 2400 each and they're 3000s. So it's a big step up for us to go, okay, now we can actually have some stock. That's,
All right, and I understand that there's a real sort of local community sort of feel and involvement to the place.
Yeah, we always, with everything that we do, we try to go local. Always local. So we've got local plumbers working on things, everything. We support a lot of the local clubs.
Oh, nice. And Ben, maybe we should talk about your background. So how did you get into brewing?
I would have been in my early 20s, and I think I was tired of the beers on the market. A lot of them being so heavily preserved and pasteurised and stuff like that. Within about half an hour of cracking one of the beers, I'd have a headache. It was really frustrating because you found a beer you like, and then you're sitting down going, okay, that's a migraine, that's good. I actually visited my brother in far north Queensland, my brother Simon, who's a mining engineer up there. A little mining town called Weeper, and there's not much to do up there. So a lot of the guys got into home brewing. And so we had a couple of homebrew parties while we're up there, but also just forward driving out of town, finding a nice spring, sitting in it, crystal clear water. You got the little fish nibbling at your feet, and you're sitting on a tree root, and life's good, just drinking some of the ginger beer that he brewed. And yeah, it was really nice. So when I came back down to Sydney, my boss at the time gave me one of his homebrew kits that he'd been gifted for Christmas and just done nothing with. Have this, and that's just where it started. So I then found out that as a student I could make a better beer and a cheaper beer, and so that was really, really good. 50-cent beers were really what it was at. And so then I started pursuing it a bit more and going, oh, that ingredient's there, but why is it there and what is it doing? This malt, these hops, that sort of thing. Started brewing from scratch, completely from scratch, from grain, and that was a steep learning curve of.
So are you pretty much self-taught, or did you do any formal training?
I've not done any formal training.
Okay.
It's all self-taught or read or educated.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've been at it for about 16, 17 years now. So I was homebrewing a lot, and then I started entering in homebrew competitions and winning them, doing really well, and that was really cool. But I realised I was making a beer to a style, not a beer for me.
Yeah.
So then I started developing my own recipes and going, oh well, I like that here, let's do that over there, and that gave me a real an idea of the ingredients and what they can do. Mm-hmm. That still applies to me today. If I'm looking at a beer and going, oh, okay, so you've got a bourbon old-fashioned IPA there. Oh, let's add some wild turkey and some orange peel into an IPA. It's really cool to experiment and just go,
Well, I've got to say, this is absolutely superb.
Thanks, man.
Now, I'm sure you don't brew this all the time.
No.
So maybe we should talk about you've got a core range of beers.
We do have a core range of beers.
So maybe you can take us through those.
So core range of beers, our most popular beer, which is what I'm having here, is my After Battle Pale Ale. It's an American style pale ale. It's about more than half of what we produce here. Is that beer, and that's probably what's going to go into the big tanks first. Mm-hmm. It's on tap around locally, a lot of RSLs and clubs, as well as your independent liquor stores and your Dan Murphy's, that sort of thing too. It's a lovely beer. It's the oldest beer that we have too. When Mike sold the business to Dion, we had about 2 beers that could be considered core range, and everything else was a seasonal. We had a special release label. We thermally printed whatever we wanted on there. Right. Oh, we made another beer. The special release label. Special release label. So the one barcode, I think, copped about 20 different beers at one stage, which is great for bottle shop owners. But then they got used to it, and it was all fine. We've got our pale ale. I would consider probably the older sibling of the pale ale would be my Viking IPA. 6.2% double dry hops mosaic IPA. Those 2 beers, that's my heaven right there. Could drink them to the day I die. Back when Dion was about to buy the business as well, Ekim was turning 10, and so was Beer Cartel. We were turning 10. Yep. So we actually did a collab 10th anniversary beer.
Okay.
made a red IPA. We asked them, hey, what beer do you guys want to make? They said, oh, we really like red IPAs. Okay, cool. I had been working on a recipe at home myself. I was like, oh, can I make it? Can I make it? Can I make it? That'd be cool commercially, right? The little brewer's dream to see his own recipe, right, out there. So at the time, we were making an amber IPA with Ekim, and it was a bit of a sometimes sold, but often it's just on a discount keg sort of a deal.
Okay.
So there was hesitation there, but we're like, no, let's just do it. They want to do the red. It sold out in 5 weeks.
All right.
So after that, Dion loved that beer so much that he was like, I want to make that beer called Range. And so that's our red IPA, Bloodshot Red IPA. That's 6.5%.
Right.
I use a German malt exclusively in that. In matter of fact, it's only just come back into the country now. So I've been squirreling away the last kegs for people. I'll be making that again next week. I do have a lager as well. It's I call it the Longboat Lager. It started off as a bit more of an Australian style, but I'll be honest, and it's a Czech style Pilsner. And that's the evolution. So I started off making this lager about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's very different now. And it's kind of the evolution of the recipe as well.
Okay, you satisfied with it now?
Very satisfied with it now. Every time we seem to make an Oktoberfest beer, it's better than our lager, and then that changes that, and then that changes that. So it is very, it's got a lot of German Pilsner malt in it, which is just beautiful. Czech hops, great clean yeast, really good.
Okay. Now, Dion's out making deliveries at the moment.
Yep.
And he took over the brewery a couple of years back. What's his background? Did he have a background in brewing at all?
He's been in the beer game a long time. He has homebrewed himself, but more so than that, he's a Friggy. So we actually met him at Hornsby RSL when they were having their new bar built. He was the one building it for them.
Right.
So that was the connection there. That's how we got to know him. But he's been setting up a lot of cooling systems for a lot of microbreweries. He's got a lot of experience as far as that goes. He installed all the tap equipment here.
That's handy.
It's very handy because that stuff breaks all the time, and so you can see all the infrastructure that's going in around us. That's where he's been plugging away any spare minute he has, which has been really cool.
Okay. Now we talked about your core range and this bourbon old fashioned IPA, which is excellent. A question that we ask of every brewer we meet is, have you made anything that's just totally out there? Totally wacky? Have you had the license to experiment wildly?
Sort of. Like there was a time where I was making different porters. So I started off just, here's your American porter as sort of a base beer, but then spiking it different ways. So I was doing a Rocky Road porter, I did a Neapolitan porter, I did a Nitro Espresso Martini porter. That was a lot of fun, sort of pursuing that angle of things. I actually had a Lamington, Nitro Lamington porter as well.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, I just want to have just a normal porter. And so I just started bringing out just a normal base beer porter, which was beautiful and even better received.
Yeah.
So that kind of became like a winter seasonal for us. I think naming it was more of a journey. I had like a skoggy is a Norse word for dark. So I had like the skoggy porter, but no one could pronounce it. That's the problem with the Viking stuff's so cool on a theme, but no one can pronounce anything. And so I called it the Shield Wall Porter, and suddenly sold. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I know that. Yeah, I've seen Vikings. Yep, I can do that.
So I'm assuming the whole Viking thing came from the fact that Mike Jorgensen, or Jørgensen, as you would say it in Danish.
Yes.
It has some sort of Scandinavian
played on
background.
his Danish heritage,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And although he's out of the business now, it's sort of that's almost your trademark, so to speak.
Yeah. Look, it's. I mean, Vikings are cool, right?
Yeah.
That's the sort of what we like to play with and play it on. And there's a few Viking beers I'd like to make eventually when I'd have a spare tank. That's just a pipe dream away. Weird beers, you mentioned it before, would have been the first beer that was released for me. My recipe, back when I almost started at Ekim, was a watermelon and lime saison.
Oh, right.
And it was double. I dry hopped it, watermelon and lime. That actually was 1 keg or 2 kegs only. Went down to Melbourne for a beer festival down there. So that was cool. We called it the Hairy Breeches saison, meaning like the Ragnar Lothbrok sort of saison. That was pretty funky. That was pretty out there.
Okay.
So Ben, if folks can't make it here into the brewery in Hornsby and they want to get a hold of your beer, how can they do that?
We've got the website, you can buy direct. Otherwise, if you're looking for a stockist in your area, our website also has a stockist on a map. So you can actually go on the map, and I like things in pictures, so I go, oh, okay, great. We got stockists in Newcastle, we got stockists in South Sydney, so we're a bit everywhere.
On my way here on the train, I looked at the map and I saw that I can get it in Leichhardt, which is quite tasty.
I know. There's a Dan Murphy's there. They're a Viking IPA, and I think there's another one that they stock. So,
Excellent. All right, folks, buy the stuff. It's good. All right, Ben. Well, thank you very much for talking
You're
to
welcome,
us.
mate. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Done.
All right, we're here at Ekim Brewing Co. in Hornsby with Nick. Good afternoon, Nick.
G'day, mate. How are you, mate?
Pretty good, mate. Now, I take it you're a regular here.
Yeah, part of the furniture, so to speak.
Okay. How long have you been frequenting Ekim?
Probably a good 8 years, probably 7, 8 years when Mike started out. Met Mike at Mount Coringai and Ben the brewer. Ben's still here.
Yep.
Then Dion bought the business off Mike. And Dion's a good mate of mine, and I just made empty glasses.
And I know they have a range of core beers and also specialty beers that come on and off. Of the core range, do you have a favourite?
Yeah, the After Battle Pale Ale. Mate.
Yep, it's a good one, isn't
It's
it?
just it's a good refresher. Just icy cold, fresh, just a quencher, and small batch. Credit to Ben the brewer, how well he does, and that After Battle's just a good go-to.
Okay, and of any of the seasonal range that come out, are there any that have taken your fancy over the years?
Yeah, the darker beers. I like the darker beers. This is the Christmas pudding stout. I do like the darker beers. The porter, Ben makes a nice porter and mixes it up with a few flavours.
Yep.
Rocky Road Porter was a really, really good one. Only just ran out of that. Or a Lamington flavoured porter as well. So I do like the darker beers. But the ginger, don't get me going, Mark. I could talk for hours. But the ginger beer is very nice too. Brewed here as well by Ben, and it's really nice with a bit of whiskey or a bit of rum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, it's been lovely speaking with you.
Thanks, mate.
Have a great afternoon.
Good on you, mate. Hope you
Cheers.
enjoy the place.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
We're here at Ekim Brewing in Hornsby with a group of fellas. Firstly, we've got Jim. G'day, Jim.
How are you?
Pretty good, mate. Have you been to Ekim before?
Never.
What's your first impression of the place?
Pretty neat and clean.
Okay.
Neat and clean.
And the beers so far?
This is my first one and it's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Do you know which one it is?
This is the Spudweiser.
Spudweiser. Okay, we've tried that one. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to come round to Ray.
Hello, yeah.
Ray.
How you going?
You're more of a regular here, are you?
Semi-regular, I'd say. I've been here a few times.
Okay. And do you have a favourite brew here?
Viking IPA.
Oh, yes. We tried that one. It's really good, isn't it?
It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, and over here we've got Andy. Hey! Andy, Are you the sort of ringleader of this mob?
No, don't be silly, mate. No.
Are you also a regular here at Ekim?
No, first time.
First time?
Met a few mates, yeah.
Okay, and what are you drinking today?
This one's a Spudweiser. The first one was a pale ale. Only had 2.
Yep.
Quite nice. I have to try the other 5 or 6 up there. But
Okay, well, Sidekick Dave and I are going to get through all of them. What do you think of them so far?
pretty good. Awesome. I'm just a normal drinker guy out of a box from the bottle shop, like just normal 4X or VB, something different.
Good on you.
Not much of an experimenter, but
I think you've turned the corner.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right.
It's awesome.
Good on you, fellas. Have a good afternoon. Okay. We're here at Ekim Brewing in Hornsby with Mark and John and Billy. Mark, have you been here before?
Look, we've been here a few times and we tried to make this our Friday special. We were just making the comment, this beats anything that you have in a hotel setting and even club setting. This is just almost like beer heaven for us. You get together, all you see here is people with a common theme of wanting to have a good quality beer at a reasonable price, but something different. Better than the slop that comes out of the taps.
Okay, and do you have a favourite beer here, Mark?
I like the Battle Ale because it's just about right at 5.1, 5.2, so it's not too bad. I've had a go at the Nitro Stout. It's probably a little bit too heavy to drink 10 of them. But otherwise, look, it's a great atmosphere, and a credit to the guys to be able to keep this going. Seriously.
Okay, well, enjoy that.
Thanks, mate.
We'll talk to John.
G'day.
John, what are you having today?
Battle Ale again, Ekim Battle Ale, nice and fresh, nice and clean drink, very smooth.
Okay, and have you been to the venue before as well?
Yeah, been a couple of times before, so Friday afternoons. Sometimes if I'm driving past, I might drop in and have one on my way home.
All right.
Other times I might not. See how I'm going and come with the boys.
I always, if I'm driving past somewhere, I always drop in.
Yeah, well, it just depends on how you feel and when you feel it.
That's it. Now, Billy.
Yes.
The mysterious Billy.
Legendary.
Yeah. Mate, you've been here before?
No, I haven't. I just got conned into coming this afternoon. I thought I was going to be the driver.
Oh, right. So you're an Ekim virgin.
Yes.
Okay. And what's your first impression?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm drinking the pale ale, and nice.
All right, gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you. All right, we're here at Ekim Brewery in Hornsby with Kay and Anthony. Good evening. Now, Kay, have you been here before?
Many times.
Okay, that is great to hear. Now, do you have a particular favourite brew here?
I normally go for a Viking IPA. I don't actually know what I've got because he got me a surprise and I can't guess what it is. So he'll have to tell you what I'm drinking at the moment.
Okay. Is it acceptable?
It's really good. Delicious.
Okay. Anthony?
Yes.
What is Kay drinking?
It's the Longboat Lager.
The Longboat Lager?
Yes. Very good. One of our favourites, yes.
And Anthony, are you having the same?
I'm having their special release, which is the old-fashioned IPA.
Oh,
yeah.
That is... We tried that. That is so good.
It is. It's fantastic, yeah.
All right. So you guys have been here quite a few times?
Oh, yeah.
You're locals?
It's our local, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us. Okay, cheers. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you. You too.
Well, Sidekick Dave, we've been here all afternoon at Ekim Brewery in Hornsby. What did you think of the place, and did you have any favourite beers?
Okay, so in terms of the place, I think what they've done is fantastic. They're in the process of moving the brewery facility, but for a small area that they've used the mezzanine, I'm really impressed. The place is pumping. It's got this great, community feel. It's really, really good. Well patronised. In terms of the beers, for me the standouts were, I'm drinking the Sunset Pilsner now, and Ben, that we heard from earlier, was championing the German malt that had been used in this. I also think that the after-battle pale ale, which is what brought us here, Mark. I thought that was spectacular, and I suppose a special mention for the bourbon
old-fashioned.
Yes, the bourbon old-fashioned IPA, which had hints of orange and I think almost wild turkey, the bourbon in there. So I think what they've done is spectacular. What are your thoughts in terms of both the beers and also the facility?
Well, thank you, Sidekick Dave. The place is good. We hadn't visited the previous establishment in Mount Ku-ring-gai, but I believe that was really quite small. This place is great. It's got a huge bar and lounge area, and it's very well patronised tonight on a Friday night. A lot of the punters, or all of the punters, seem to like it. I'm going to agree with you 100% on the beers. They were my 3 favourites as well. I will say that none of the beers in the range were off-putting, or I did not like them. I liked all of the beers in the range, but certainly the Pale Ale, the Sunset Pilsner, and the bourbon whatever it was. Old-fashioned IPA. Yes. Old-fashioned IPA. That was surprisingly good. I didn't actually expect to like that, but I loved it.
I think it would be I think it's seasonal, and it's seasonal for summer, and the orange comes through.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Really good.
Really nice. Anyway, folks, if you happen to be up this way, it's a little bit of a trek. You've got to come to Hornsby Station, and we caught an Uber here. So bear in mind, it is a little bit awkward to get to.
However,
but once you get here,
it is well worth the effort.
Absolutely.
There's no question.
Okay, well, here from Ekim Brewery, folks, remember, it's always Beeroclock.